Heyo, Sir Elvin here, and today I'm going to teach a lesson in grade 10 for grade 10 in English and of course in Bicol language so that you could understand more. So today we're going to discuss about moralist approach. So here are our objectives. So before that, I have here a quote. So said by the ever famous Albert Einstein. So the most important human endeavor is striving for morality in our actions. Our inner balance and even our very existence depend on it. Only morality in our actions can give beauty and dignity to life. So that is. So here he's saying that our aim, our goal is to always should have morality in our action in whatever thing that we do. Okay, let's start. So, so the method we'll be discussing will be critique a literary selection based on a moralist approach. So, ma-discuss da kita kung mailing da kitang lens, maano da kita, mailing kitang sarong text, mabasa kitang sarong text gamit ang moralist approach. And later, maaramayin do kung ano ang moralist approach. Now, these are our objectives for our video lesson for today. Number one, define moralist approach. Ano nga ba ang moralist approach? Second is identify what questions to ask using moralist approach, of course. And lastly, we have analyze the text of the story of the aged mother using moralist approach. Okay. Now, so what is something moral and what is something immoral? And what is something immoral? So, sorry for the error in the PowerPoint. It should be because I converted it in PDF. So, ano nga ang moral sa anong immoral? Diba nakadaw ka ba, ay, immoralan nga si ginibo niya. Anong naisipin do pag araw kaya? So, to do that, let's have first define what is a moral. What is moral? Moral is significant and demonstrate bearing matter at hand. Affording, so basically, and so there's an error here. So, So when we say moral, it bears goodness of others. It conforms to the standard of goodness. Like for example, giving teaching people how to earn money on their own is moral, and teaching them how to steal stuff is of course immoral. For you, what do you consider moral and immoral? Of course, you your own have that kind of thinking. Okay? Now, how can we teach people to do right things instead of wrong things? So one way to do that, everyone, is to let them read stories or literature. So pag nagbabasa kita ng mga stories, may mga manood lang kita naman lessons na ma-apply ta sa buhay ta. And through those stories, we can learn what is wrong and what's right. So gamit ang mga storyang ito, of course, manaraman ta kung ano ang tama sa sala. And yan ang goal ka moralist approach. Okay, let's read the definition. Moralist approach is an approach is concerned with content and values. Content and values. The approach is as old as literature itself. For literature is a traditional mode of imparting morality, philosophy, and religion. Then, the concern in moral or intellectual criticism is not only to discover meaning but also determine whether works of literature are both true and significant. So basically, sa moralist approach, in moralist approach, we look as literature as a way to to impart morality. For example, ano mga lessons naman sa anong mga decisions kang characters naman ang mapailing ko anong moral saka immoral. Okay? Um sorry for that. Yeah, so that is moral criticism. Now, everyone, note, it is not about directing readers or read it is not about directing reader to what is moral and what is immoral but help them decide for themselves. So baho ka dapat masabing ay yan tama inin sala, dapat maisip ninda sa diri ninda kung ano ang tama saka sala. Next. Okay? So what are the questions used to look into a text using moral or ethical approach? So these are the questions. So these questions will help us look into a text using moralist approach. Number 1. What is moral or ethical? Ayan, so natapos na ka na dyan. Balik. Now, what idea does the work contain? What is the theme? It should be what is the theme of the text, and it is something relatable to your life. So ano ba ang theme? Anong pinag-uulayan naman? Tungkol ba sa family, tungkol sa love, or anything? Next one, how strongly does the work bring forth its ideas? What are the imagery, scenarios, etc. used to express the idea of the text? Ano si mga ginamit na scenarios, imagery, situations, panapahiling duman si morality? Okay po. What idea does the work contain? What is the theme? So, tapos na ito dyan. Babalik ng tataas. Okay. What applications do the ideas have? Okay. Yan. What application do the work ideas have to the work's character and situation? And lastly, how may the ideas be evaluated intellectually or morally? How can be the ideas interpreted? Is it moral or immoral? So, gagamitin mo sa mga decision kang character duman o sa mga nangyari kung moral ba to or immoral. Okay, now to further understand, we're going to analyze the story of the aged mother. So, yan. So, to do that, I'm going to summarize it first. Then you're going to what? You're going to um Siyempre, of course, we don't have any kind of interaction. You're going to listen. Okay. Okay. So, then. So, summary first. So, a poor farmer and her widowed mother live in the mountains. So, yan si widowed, si poor farmer and her widowed mother. As you can see, the mother is already old, so she can't do stuff anymore. Not as efficient, simple. So yan, so magkaiba sila sa bundok, magkaiba na. Next, the governor ordered the people to put death to all old people. So tanong kaya nagginibuan ka tong governor kasi takot siya na, for example, mag-cause sickness ng mga old people tapos magaraw-hawa kasi takot siyang maapektuhan man siya. As in, gusto niya man si resources, dumanan sa mga young people na nagtatrabaho. And gusto niya sa disposable na lang ang mga taong burang. Yan ang nasa isip niya. Next, the farmer. So, nag-decide si farmer na sunod doon. Siyempre, governor to kay Pon sunod doon, kundi parehas na mawawala. So, the farmer carried her mother to the mountains. As they traveled, the mother broke some twigs so that the son will not be lost on track. As you can see the picture, nagtasin lang sa mountain para di mawara si Ake niya pagpabalik, na makatawaton nga si mountain. Siya, si mga branch, twig, si baraak niya, para ditong susunodon kang si Ake niya. Pero sa indo, igualat kaya siyang Ake niya? Of course not. The son could not leave her mother alone, and she took her back and hid her in their house. So instead of leaving her mother at home, niya, tigdara niya manggel kasi di niya kayang bayaan. So, is it moral or immoral? Is it intellectual decision? Okay, next. Okay, may demanda naman sa governor. The governor demanded ashes and roof of ashes, and the young man was able to please him with the wisdom from her old mother. So may tig-request na naman si governor, di niya man to aram, pero si mama niya nag-isip ng paraan para magibo niya to. And na-please man sa governor. The governor should be governor. The governor was pleased and asked the farmer where he got his knowledge. He then told the truth, pleasing the governor the who then abolished the law he made. So yan sila ugma sa governor and tig-abolish na sila kasi na-appreciate na yung mga gurampalan, may mga wisdom pa silang may impart sa mga hubin na tao. So yan ang story of aged woman. Now let's answer the questions from the moralist approach. Now, what does the work contain? What is the theme? Is it something related? So the theme is selfishness of the mother of the son. Of course, sacrifice kasi daw ang naisip niya pangyari sa akin niya, and familial love and wisdom. So, of course, it can be related to real life. Just like today, our families, our grandparents or our parents are sacrificing for us. So, of course, we can always relate to it. Next, so how strongly does the work bring forth its ideas? What are the imagery, scenarios, etc. used to express the idea? So the author presents the idea of sacrifice by presenting a scenario where protagonists have to make a choice. So ano sa ilingin daw, moral ba to or immoral? Of course, moral si decision kang si son. But si decision kang governor na pagada ng gabos na old people, of course it's immoral. The trembling mother's voice yan. So here we have the trembling mother's voice was full of unselfish love as she gave her last injunction. Let not thine eyes be blinded, my son, she said. The mountain road is full of dangers. Look carefully and follow the path which hold the piles of twigs. They will guide you to familiar path farther down. So yan, di ba? Maski wawalat na siyang aki niya, nag-isip niya manggaris karayan kang aki niya. Di ba? Ganda. What the so what application do the ideas have works and character situation? So, ano application? Always listen to old people's advice and always give back to your parents. So, those are many interpretation. Of course, you can also interpret that we shouldn't our government shouldn't dispose just let old people be disposed kasi sila nag-help para mag-grow ang economy natin. Diba? So those are only one. So of course when you read it to yourself, magkakasadiri man ka mong ideas. Next theme, selfishness. So yeah. Emperor's law. So how may I visible morally? So let's start with the law. Of course, the emperor's law or the governor's law is very immoral kasi you're killing its people's right to live. The son's choice not to leave her mother is moral. Diba? Yun ang ano dyan. Even if garo, maski put siya in danger, hindi niya tigbayaan si mama niya. Okay, how may be the ideas be evaluated ethically? So, tapos na dyan. So, that is moralist approach. If you have any questions, you can always ask me in my messenger. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.